shed more tears. I know it's time to fight. It's time to remove the mask. For once, let us be honest. We parents will not step back. Our children deserve the best. Punished for protecting them. Where is the justice in all that? Our voices rise because our love is deep. Return the innocent, hear our hearts beat. Yeah, yeah. It's time to remove the mask. For once, let us be honest. We parents will not step back. Our children deserve the best. It's time to remove the mask. For once, let us be honest. We parents will not step back. Our children deserve the best. It's time to remove the mask. For once, let us be honest. We parents will not step back. Our children deserve the best.
All right. We are live with Punish for Protecting. Hello, Francesca.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ted, again. Today we have a hot pursuit of kidnappers in Pennsylvania that we are actually after. And on the line today we have Charlene Angelastro and Elizabeth Ann from Pennsylvania. Elizabeth, for anyone who's been watching her story, Elizabeth has had her children kidnapped in Pennsylvania. I organized I helped her actually with a letter, an advocacy letter, and representing her and what she's been through. Charlene Angelastro has done tons and tons of legwork behind the scenes, which has gotten some really good attention, which we're going to have Elizabeth discuss, and catch everybody up to date as to where we are right now. So without further ado, I'm going to have Elizabeth on first, and then we'll go over to Charlene to kind of give us what she thinks about all of this. Hi, Elizabeth, and thank you for being here.
Hi.
We need you louder. We need you louder. We have no sound coming out of you. So while you're working on that, I think I'm going to have maybe Charlene do a little. Is that okay if she does a little? Okay, so we'll go to Charlene right now, and then we'll head back to Elizabeth. I need you to either adjust your headset or don't use a headset. Maybe don't use it at all. But I'll go to Charlene to set a little basis right now.
Hi guys, how are you?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Charlene Angelastro. I am a core team member and a chapter leader of New Jersey for Punish for Protecting. We've been with Elizabeth. Francesca had put out Elizabeth's story. I'm going to say it was about 6 weeks ago. While I was watching it, which we all do, we all come in and we watch everything that Fran's doing. Every guest, we're with her, our core team, and our members are all together. And we watch everybody. And this is why we say your voice is important. It's the stress in the voice. It's the pain in the voice. It's the look on the face to tell what's real. It's to listen to the story and then really talk to that person and see if they can give you back the story the same way in different questions, different ways that it's thrown at them. When it is, like this was with Elizabeth, I got her on the phone immediately and I said, do you know what you have? And she said, I have a medical kidnap. I said, no, honey, I don't know who told you that. You have a true kidnap case. I want you to take out a pen and paper. I want you to write down the questions I'm going to ask you. Then I want you to write the answers that I give you under each question, but I want your answer written under with each question. It took 5 minutes. She came back. I said, now under those 5 questions, could you read back in front of you? I want you to look at it and bring it back to me the way you are perceiving to look at it. She did. After I asked her that, I said, can you tell me what you see in front of you? She said, I see kidnapping. I said, you are absolutely correct. So then I did some more investigating through it, through paperwork, through things that she's had. We do this stuff. People think we don't. We really do. And in this one, it's true wholeheartedly. This one is more legal than anybody can imagine. And this woman has been out here for years trying to grab on every little group out there, every little cell group to help her. And she's been torn in all different directions. And that's what's a little upsetting. All these years, there really was an answer in front of her. But now we have good news from her today. And if Elizabeth is ready, I'm going to let her do it. She did this herself. All we did is guide her and show her the truth. And then she listened and did all the paperwork. All we did is guide her and give her the correct tools. And now we have a very good outcome of this. Every day we're getting closer and closer what we need to get to. But I'm still letting her story. I just give you my part of what we did as a team. And now this girl put her own boots on the ground and did it herself. And I'm going to let it go to Elizabeth's head.
Okay, so before Elizabeth does get on, and you may have to remove your headset to make for better sound, but I do want to say I left one thing out. So what we did is we also guided her to get a criminal case against different parties, and it literally put the fear of God in them. So now, without further ado, here's Elizabeth Ann. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're on, Elizabeth.
You're on, Elizabeth.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Still very low, but I'll crank it
You're
up.
very low for some reason, but we will try to reiterate to the audience where you're at right now.
All right.
There we go.
I am not nervous. Like, I don't have nervous. But I want to say thank you.
Elizabeth, you were nice and clear for a second, and now you're completely faint again. I'm not really sure what's happening with your sound. Are you putting your finger over maybe like the voice part of your phone or whatever device you're talking into? Because it was clear for a second. And people need to and want to hear that. So I did hear some sound.
Make sure your volume is all the way up and everything's maxed out.
Can I put that out and come back in?
I think so. Come out and come back in.
Okay.
I'm going to put it back to Charlotte. Actually, we're going to go to an we'll go to an intermittent and then we'll wait for her to come back in.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Just please stop yelling at me, please.
Call 911 now!
and the music cuts out. We have the credits right at the end. I need maybe you could resend me that link, and I'll just redo it. Elizabeth still isn't back on with us.
She's actually on, but she's not on a video. But I can. Okay, if you're ready, I can speak.
Okay.
You want me to? Okay. So, okay, so guys, so we're here today with Elizabeth Ann and Charlene Angel Astro, and I'm Francesca Amato Banfield with Punish for Protecting. And today's story is regarding a true and genuine kidnapping. If anybody has not been following this story with Elizabeth Ann from Pennsylvania, she had a car accident, and it actually led to her leg being losing a leg in the process. She was in tremendous pain and on all kinds of medicine. Through having to have an operation and being in tremendous pain, the doctors, the physicians, had her medicated. She made a decision, but under the situation where she was in a tremendous car accident, having a woman come along, and she's going to lay the foundation better, taking her children from her under the guise of taking care of them while she was going through this horrific ordeal, which has led up to today. And I'm going to have Elizabeth answer some questions such as length of time and what led up to this point. Charlene and I got involved, and I did an advocacy letter. Charlene has educated Elizabeth on her rights, and then I directed her to do a criminal complaint. I spoke to the police in Pennsylvania as well, and we have done a criminal kidnapping charge against not just this woman, but every single last person, including the judge, that is involved in this horrific, barbaric act that they have done to this entire family. And so we wanted to share this story today because it just keeps, unfortunately, it's a horrific story, but it is getting better and better. This advocacy that we're doing, and Elizabeth's really literally doing all the work behind getting her children home, is really, that's why we're calling it Hot Pursuit of the Kidnappers. Elizabeth, let's hope that your sound is nice and clear now. I'm going to have you on right now, and let's hear your sound so we can...
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So if you can lay a foundation in regards to the length of time that you've not had your children, the particular woman who's literally kidnapped your children, the judge, and everyone that's a part of this just despicable act that they caused you and your family, and then we'll get to the point where you are right now today.
Okay, so my children have been kidnapped since 2010. My accident was in 2009. So I've had one surgery every year since she's had these kids. I lost my leg last year. Okay, so she's had these kids since 2010. But the paper that she brought to me was supposed to be a guardianship paper so that she can take care of the kids while I'm laid up, only while I'm laid up. And then she lied to me and said it had nothing to do with custody whatsoever. Come find out, when I got the paper back, that it was a custody consent form. And under the doctor's care and extreme duress that I was under with the pain and the medications that I was on 3 prescribed narcotics under doctor's care when she had brought that paper to me. And that paper is fraud. So we have, right now, we got kidnap charges against Judge Nancy Vernon, Deborah Higginbotham Holchin, her husband Richard Higginbotham, Holchin, sorry, and her sister-in-law Lana Watson Higginbotham. So we are getting to the point where we literally have a Christmas miracle right now. I got inside news yesterday where the person that is going to school with my children heard the kidnappers say that if I get my federal funding money for this federal attorney that you asked me to get, Fran, that I would get my children home immediately because she would have to give up. She has no money to fight me. And on top of that, she is scared of losing everything that she has and on top of it, go to jail.
Right. And now, we did file several weeks ago all the criminal charges. They're being taken very seriously, which little by little we've been giving out the story regarding your children. The length of time, first of all, there's so much sneaky, underhanded stuff that has happened. And Charlene, also in laying the foundation in regards to it being a medical kidnap, this was technically not a medical kidnap. You had a issue where they literally snowballed you. They literally cold clocked you, if you will.
Yep.
And while on prescribed medications, under the care of physicians and doctors and so on, in the interim from the car accident to the losing of your leg, and this woman literally underhandedly stealing your children, and then the court system actually having the audacity to help her do this. Now, your story is sadly, we got to the bottom of it, but your story, as we know, is literally one of so many other stories out there of parents suffering all over this country and globe. Not at the same exact way as yours has played out, but if we don't get in there and actually do the surgery that needs to be done, so to speak, we don't dissect the issue. We don't go in there and say, okay, what is exactly happening here? What are the specific violations to this particular case? What can we do here? What is criminal? Okay, what is not criminal? This is a lot of the things that I think that many times attorneys, don't go into, don't look at, don't address, because they're so busy covering up what these judges are doing, continuously going under that false guise and false pretense of judicial immunity, whereby they're just going to play the old judicial immunity card, which is not existent, because the bottom line comes down to the human rights and civil rights violations that are happening to you, your children, your family, and like I said, countless families and children all over our country. While these judges make these barbarically negligent and irresponsible court decisions, and these attorneys are not targeting the actual urgency of the breakdown of the family. The pain and suffering is one aspect. The instant ADA violations that occur the second they take children from a family member, a caretaker, a fit caretaker, a primary caretaker. There are so many different aspects to these cases that get ignored and that have been ignored. So now in a particular case like this that seems so impossible to actually put back together, we've discovered that by doing an advocacy letter, getting somebody like Charlene with her background in the case, because she can just like look at a case and literally see all the red flags and be able to highlight where the violations occur. I came in, all I did was literally say, this is criminal. We need to pursue this as a criminal case. I did talk to, I think, the sheriff's department there. I forget who now, the lieutenant or something. Say it again.
State police.
The state police, that's right. Now, these are the entities that are supposed to actually come in and automatically defend us as a people. They have been so not taken from the hitting of the mark. They've been moved out from the mark so much, whereby they just kind of follow orders without following rules and laws. Or should I say without following laws, okay? And so they just get directed as to what to do and not do. And I feel that this is such an imperative issue, something that as anybody that takes any type of an oath of office on any capacity whatsoever, number one is supposed to be held at a higher accountability. When I'm talking about judges, they're to be held at a higher accountability. And I think we're going to actually do an episode where we're going to go over the case in 1980s where judicial immunity was trumped and a little girl had her ovaries or had her tubes tied without her knowledge. And it's a barbaric criminal act to do to a human being. And in the meantime, it got pushed away because of quote unquote judicial immunity. How do we go from the 80s now to 2017 and the same barbaric and human acts are being committed all over our country, which is treason, everyone? Okay, when we look at Elizabeth Ann's story here and we see the violations, the criminal violations, the kidnapping, the genuine criminal acts that are happening to her and her family, while she is already going through something that your average person doesn't go through, okay, and she's under the care of doctors due to a car accident, okay, leading her to where she is today, and how a judge can just say, just claim judicial immunity. We have a serious problem. And then we discover, because I do work, and you know, with the federal attorney that specifically we're going to place on this case, which is the reason why we're doing this today. Yes, and let me not forget Amish descent on top of it. See, these are barbaric acts by these judges and all the players involved. Nobody is exempt. It doesn't matter your religious background. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter your social or your economic background. It doesn't matter your education level. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. There is absolutely no one is exempt from being abused by family court. No one is exempt. Get this into your heads, everybody, from being abused by family court and child predator services and the like. We are going to be holding oath keepers to their oaths all over the place. We are going to be holding these judges, and I was about to say the federal attorney has made it very clear. I've got a host of laws in my arsenal, and especially West Virginia, where they do not have judicial immunity, folks. They do not. And again, we do need Kirk on here sometimes, but they do not have judicial immunity, okay? And there's also other ways to sue a judge, individual capacity, and a judge in his robe. There are ways to sue them under the things that they do. And there's a certain way to sue them. There's a certain method that these particular attorneys that are very, what's the word? They're experts in what they do. Let's put it that way. Okay. And they're writer attorneys. So therefore you may never know their names, but we do. So with that, and why we're doing this particular episode today and right before Christmas and in the season of giving, and I want you to talk more, Elizabeth, too, but we really need you guys to help Elizabeth, because it's not just about her suing, okay? That's one aspect of her recompense to the abuse that she's endured and suffered. That's just one part of it. Remember, everybody's win is your win, okay? Because we do want to do a combination of lawsuits worldwide, nationwide. We are gearing up for a nationwide lawsuit. This entire movement has gained tremendous momentum, and it is fiercely moving forward at this point. And it's only going to continue to grow and get larger in not only size, volumes and so on, but in the weight that we have pushing against this very diabolical system. So we are reaching out today to ask for help for her. Can you, Elizabeth, kind of get into the amount that he's requested? I know that when he starts it, he does it right to the end. He does it from literally soup to nuts. So it's one price, basically. What did he offer you, and how much do we need?
We need $5,000 altogether, and that's so that he can make sure that he gets everything. If they try to dismiss it or anything like that, he'll go back in. And on top of that, okay, so if anybody that's on here or anybody that hears this, I want you guys to know every penny that you guys give will go to this attorney, and anything that you guys have given later on, when I get the money, I will pay it forward and help other people do the same thing, because I know the pain we are all going through. But I did want to add a little bit more to how this all came about, because I only covered a little bit of it, and I'm like panicking here because I couldn't get onto the video, but I'll be fine. But the judge, okay, this is not a CPS case at all. This is a judge that was a friend to the woman that kidnapped my children. The woman that kidnapped my children came to my house, not to the court. We were not in court, nothing like that. She came to my house on my kitchen table, she brought this paper. This paper had no date, no names, nothing on it except for stating that she was supposed to take care of my children. Now, when the paper came back to me, yes, there was dates on it. Yes, there was a judge's signature on it. But it is a friend of the woman that kidnapped my children. She just happens to be a judge and then files it into the court as if we were in court and makes it a court order. And even on that paper, I have visitation rights. It says, as the parties may agree. Well, we're not going to agree when I keep asking to see my children, and every time I keep asking, she keeps making false allegations against me, from neglect to abuse to indecent assault to molestation to rape. Last year, she said, I took the kids to a strip club, watched men rape them, then tried to kill them. Okay? That's when I opened my eyes and I was like, look, this is one I can prove. 100% a lie. Because you cannot get into a strip club till you're 18, first off. Then the cop goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Now, the only reason CPS got involved at all is every allegation that she said, they unfounded. Okay, so why does she still have my kids? Because she knows this judge that is covering from top to bottom everything she is doing. She has pull in Fayette County. This is Fayette County, Pennsylvania for you guys. And I have talked to numerous attorneys that will not even touch this case because it is Fayette County. That is how corrupt Fayette County is.
Charlene, what do you have to say? Charlene?
I'm sorry, I was out with the people.
It's okay.
I watch what everybody's saying too, to know what I need to come back with when I'm here. That's another advantage to being not on video. You don't know I escaped to go out with the people. So anyway, at this point, what we want to bring forward is that we have them scared. They didn't expect this, which this is what a lot of people need to realize right now. What we're doing, and listen, we're getting a lot of backlash for doing this, for exposing. If Elizabeth didn't, if Fran didn't bring this to the table for all of us, all eyes, when she was saying, Fran says, all eyes, we're watching you, she means that. There's going to be somebody, anybody that's really watching that says, oh, look at that, or look at this, or look how evil they really are. Because it's the truth. We can type in this little box, and I'm going to bring this up again, and you don't see the pain. You don't hear the voice of the in and out of the PTSD. And it's true, people. When you look at the videos of these people, you don't hear the crying in this little text box. I think that's what's been missing all these years in order to grab attention, is that I hope everybody agrees with me. When I say I got to go, because I get so upset. I've been through this for so many years within the system, and I am within the system. I was only within the system to protect, and I learned it. But it's also to make sure that they're doing the right thing. If they don't do the right thing, the system in a whole, for these kids, who's going to protect them? Who is there? Okay? Now we have to protect the parent. We have to get out here. Each parent that comes in, show yourself, come to us. Listen, we want to show people this is real and raw. This is not a fake little box. This is not fake people, robots. This is real people's kids that were kidnapped. All of your kids out there, they're kidnapped. Just get the right way. They were kidnapped. Day one. Day one. Forget the rest after that. You know what I call it? Toilet paper. That's all it is. And you know all that other talk that's in between? It's white noise. When you go back to day one, that first hour is called a golden hour to save your life. Guess what? Go back to that 1 hour, because that's where your life changed. Save your own damn life within that first hour of your child being taken. Go over that. Go over that first hour. Look at it. Everything. Everyone that we've brought in and busted out has been within that first hour. And it's the truth. After that first hour, nothing else matters. That's your damages after that first hour. Not theirs. That's your damages after that first hour, after that child leaves your door or your wherever that child was taken from. That's your golden hour. And that's your lifeline right there.
That's an extremely, extremely good point, and people really need to understand that. In that first hour of them stealing your children, that's where you're going to find two key things, and I need you guys to hear this. Key number one, that's where you're going to find the most intimidation tactics are in that hour of them stealing your children, in that moment, okay? So under those intimidation tactics that you have experienced, that's where all the fear is going to come in, where you're going to be so afraid to move forward. You're going to be almost frozen, debilitated in should I do this? I can't do this. Anything you would normally do in your normal, even fright and flight, okay, you will be too frightened to do because of all the intimidation tactics. Then you get back into a court, if and when you get back into a court, and more intimidations come compounded, okay? Now go back into that hour that she's talking about where they stole your children, that moment where they actually took them. That's where you're going to find all the violations. Sometimes you can't see them. You know them in your heart of hearts. You know what's morally wrong. You know where when a person feels frightened because they're being bullied or they're being abused or a gunman walked into a bank, okay, you know right then and there something's wrong. You know right then and there at that exact moment that that's illegal, okay? You know inherently that you're being attacked, okay? Now you come along and you have a judge and law enforcement and other public servants, let's keyword servants, okay, intimidating you further because they want to keep you oppressed and fearful, okay? And this is why you need the mass army to surround you and protect you in the moving forward, because see, there's nothing in this world more important than your children. So if it means putting your life on the line for them, so be it. Okay, I have had, I've seen it. We've been there. We've had it happen where they arrest you for no reason. I have a mother that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with because of York, Pennsylvania, Kimmy Bailey, where this crazy judge, insane judge, has this mother now in jail for a year. I mean, it's unbelievable. Felons don't get the time this poor innocent mom's getting. Okay, and she didn't do anything. She did nothing. If you follow the stories from early on, months ago. Okay, this psychopath gave her 6 more months. Okay, the crazy lunatic Judge Keller in West Virginia. Okay, she gave Mark Halburn 12 extra days because I reported her. Excuse me? He was in jail. He didn't know what I was doing. So now I personally will be suing her because you're messing with me and my organization and my show. And Mark, so anyway, my point is that what Charlene said is so emphatically important because you guys need to focus on take your emotions out of it. Do the best you can to take your emotions out of the situation and think with a clear head. When the dust starts to settle, sit down and try to relax and think with a clear head regarding your particular case. What exactly happened so that we can highlight the violations. Right now with Elizabeth Ann's case, this is a criminal kidnapping, and it's actually in connection with, and it's been what's the word I'm looking for, consorted by a judge as well as, okay, this judge literally is the criminal, and we know that they are, but this is like clear-cut criminality. Wouldn't you say, Charlene?
Absolutely. Like I said, it only took the first 5 minutes of me watching her. So the first 5 minutes was all I need on anybody, really, truthfully, and I could bust right through it. And also what I want to tell people is it's under extreme duress. When you're under extreme duress, your signature actually doesn't matter. It doesn't count. You all need to realize there's a lot of, and I got to bring up the caller or the reporter, whoever reported it, or the person that called in. We need to really get on the FCC about that. That's falsifying information. and I brought this up a few times, going in with Missy McDonald, one of our core team leaders, going in on her lives with her. The caller or the reporter, if you call in through the FCC, which is a phone line, and they're reporting, can you call into the police and give, or an ambulance and give false reports 5 times in a week without finally them pressing charges against you? Could you do that?
Of course not.
One person that doesn't even, it could be Joe Schmo calling in on Jack Blow, and all of a sudden your kids are being taken and they don't even have your name right. That's my point. Okay. And you know why? Because they made it up. They made it up because there's a bonus check coming through your door. That bonus check, they didn't care what that person said. They're going to find stuff just from walking through your door. Oh, you know, your toilet paper, we wanted blue this week. And it's for real. Then if you get charged going in, say you get a charge from a police officer, and then all of a sudden you have 15 charges. But how do you have 15 charges on one thing that officer was sent in on? It's illegal. An officer can't add charges on an original call unless you caused it yourself. They make this stuff up. Just going through your door is illegal. And people have to realize, listen, I'm trying to bring it in simplicity. I can bring you law like they do with Ted and Kirk, and I can bring you that. It's not, what's happening with that is people that don't understand it are getting tripped up. I'm trying to bring you those laws that these guys are doing. That's why you hear me refer to them, because what I'm speaking to you is in simplicity of what the Law Corner is doing. I'm bringing it to you on a breakdown that you can understand as a layman, as we say, because you're not on a level of thinking to fight that fight that they're on. They can fight that fight. That's where a power of attorney comes in. A power of attorney will come in on a level of intelligence of the fight. Now, this is what we did. We did this for Elizabeth. We brought in the POAs on the level to fight correctly. And that's what they're afraid of, Fran. We're on their level. She's not doing it. We're doing it on their level. That's why the DA is scared. Okay? They're scared now because now they have somebody that's actually can break out the laws and come at them. But we didn't need to do that to bring it to the table with Elizabeth. All she needed was the right one to tell her the right thing in simplicity. And that's what we're out here trying to do right now. And that we're giving you the tools to utilize on any reference that you need. You'll see us throw out there. We're unifying every little cell group for information for you to find it yourself. If we're not doing it for you, we'll break it through for you. Okay, we'll guide you. We're advocates. We're not lawyers. We're trying to show you yourself how to do this. Okay, people, please just understand this. This is not as complex as you are all thinking. Okay, it's very simple, and if you really listen and utilize the tools and do it, Elizabeth, does it work?
Yeah, it does. It absolutely works.
They're scared. They're scared now. We have a reaction that we haven't had in how many years?
Since 2009,
that's what I wanted to hear from Elizabeth. I want to hear from you, Elizabeth. You have had zero hope until about how long ago?
6 weeks.
When you and Charlene heard my story on Punish for Protecting,
we don't hear you, Elizabeth.
A couple months ago.
6 weeks.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I need to. Yep, I'm starting to hear you now. I wanted to hear from you. You know, you haven't had any hope until about how long ago? And how do you feel now? Do you feel like you've gained your power back?
Yeah, I have gained my power back, most definitely. And it's all thanks to Punish for Protecting. It really is.
Now, I don't want to take credit for it. It's thanks to God, and we just do what we do. But we try to bring the hope back into people's lives again. And also, I want to bring a few things out because I highly respect and admire Kirk Pendergrass, and I do understand his language when he speaks, and I jump for joy when I listen to him talk. But I do, and I get it, because like Richard Provost won in West Virginia. Now, I've court watched in West Virginia. I plan to continue to do that. They violate laws up and down all over the place. All over the place. It's like, you talk about backwards. Oh my goodness. So knowing Rich and talking to him and at length for months on end, actually, he was one of my first, I think he was my first interview. You know, and he talks about how he kicked their butts, their beloved butts in Kangaroo Court. Let me tell you, now that I've court watched them, and I've known of them since last year, I have a special interest in West Virginia. He did indeed, and in fact, kick their rear ends in Kangaroo Court as many times as he said he did. He really did. He never lost his son. And let me tell you, if you hear his whole story, you would be blown away by it. They are as kangaroo gets. Okay? And I've been in many states, and coming from liberal New York, even liberal New York, as screwed up as it is, isn't as bad as West Virginia. It's shocking. So here's my point, and here's what we do as advocates. We highlight the abuses and the violations, and we go right directly after where the problem lies, right into it. That's what we do. Full speed ahead, right into the problem. Don't tell me this when the issue is here. If the house is on fire here, I'm not going to spray the hose at the house next door because it might catch fire, right? I'm going to aim for the house that's on fire, and that's what we do. Now, people are afraid, and that's why we want to emphasize that. You got to get to the point where you're no longer afraid. When your case is being worked on and looked at and exposed and what have you and whatever, we talk about what we're going to do. We do not share a person's case without their permission. Everybody's doing this together. When we start going there, sometimes they get better right away. Sometimes just the mere exposure immediately makes the judges start saying, "Oop, I better watch what I'm doing." Sometimes the judge becomes more of an asshole, okay? Because he still tries to cover up and he still tries to intimidate you. That's a price you may have to pay, okay? Yeah, it may be a price you may have to pay. My opinion and my advice, and I'm going to see what Charlene has to say, and Elizabeth, and others that are having their cases either won or getting that dent opened again, you know, that pulled apart and opened into again. I say keep doing it. I say don't let them intimidate you. Personally, I say keep doing it. Keep exposing them. If they hurt you again in court and they intimidate you again and they tell you others can't come in the court and see what they're doing to you, go back out and talk about them again. That's what you need to do. You need to expose that bully even more. Okay? You teach your kids in school that if there's a bully, don't punch him back. Go tell on him, right? Well, listen, as adults, we got to do the same thing. These judges are outright bullies. They're outright despicable. I mean, they're criminals is what they are, okay? But this whole Charlene talking about this layman's term, that's how Richard Provost does it. He don't get into all the legalities behind it, okay? He goes into very basic layman's term, which common law is supposed to be for the common person. However, even these judges, these morons sitting in their robes, they don't even know the laws that they claim that they know. Ask them to cite something and they can't. They got to go look it up or ask their clerk to help them. It's comical. And yet they're going to sit there and screw up your family? I mean, you know, so this is something that Punish for Protecting, this is what we do. Our main thing, we have a lot of things that we do, but our main objective and our main thing that we do is we expose these psychopaths for what they are. We expose them. We expose the stories. And when we tell your stories, I mean, just now, one of my, I'm not going to say who, she contacted me from ABC News in Georgia regarding Shannon's case yesterday morning. I had to squeeze her into my schedule, and she did the report. I stayed on with her while we did it together. I stayed in the background. Anyway, long story short, they left out a lot of the story. They're under their own pressure. She was a very nice lady, very much liked her, very much really genuinely cares. I need you guys to mute your phones. I need you guys to all mute, please. But when we went back and read what the whole interview was, a lot was left out. Now, we've got a lot more to that story. We've got a lot that we never disclosed that we will continue to hold on to. I need you guys to mute, please. Please check your mutes. So we've got a lot of information on that case with Shannon Baskin, a lot of stuff, and we are not disclosing certain things because that's something that we feel in our own integrity is something that is to be kept just under discretion because of the fact that she's not here to give us permission and so on and so forth. But anyway, but we've got all that. So, all that she did share, a lot of it wasn't put into their news report. Well, why? Well, because they're under lock and key, so to speak. You know, they're only legally allowed, not legally, I don't want to say legally, but they're only allowed to do what ABC lets them do, or NBC, or Fox, or whatever. Okay, so they go by that. So when we do what we do, it's all up to me. I can tell you what I'm putting on, what I'm not. And guess what I put? I put your raw story. What you give me and you bring to the table, first of all, we go live. Second of all, when we edit, we don't edit out anything you said for television unless it's the F-bomb, because we have to delete that. Okay, but other than your story gets told. Your voice deserves to be heard. You've been put through hell. Parent after parent and child after child has been put through barbaric hell. You may not be sitting on a bed of nails, okay, being tortured or being stretched in a torture chamber. You're being tortured and stretched and abused in the torture chamber called Family Court and Child Predator Services. So that's part of what we do. We are not attorneys, and thank God for that. And we're not under anybody's thumb to tell us what we can and can't do. So we do whatever it takes to expose these criminals, and then we do whatever it takes on a collective, grand scheme, mass army that we are, gargantuan in size, adding on numbers every day to make sure that this abuse stops against families everywhere. So Elizabeth, I would like to hear and I know that America wants to hear you. You've been put through hell. You have literally been put through hell. You've been through so many things. I know it's your faith in God that has that's seen you through. I know that it's your faith in God that has taken you through some of the worst things that some people have never had an eighth of what you've been through. And I'm glad that we've been able to give you hope again. But I want to hear from you, and I believe America would like to hear from you, just where this all started, the extreme pain and suffering that you've had to deal with, and where you are with it all today, how you feel about your case now, because it was hopeless like so many of these cases are.
Okay, so can you guys hear me now?
Very good.
Okay, good. All right, so when I was in my accident, she seen a very easy victim. And I'm going to put this out there just like I would to anybody else talking right in front of me. I was Amish, raised Amish, and abused all my life. Okay, so when I left to be with my mother, when I finally found her, and I was brainwashed all my life that my mom didn't like me, she didn't care about me, she hated me, all this other stuff. When I found her, I knew her for 1.5 years when she did die. And then I was lost. And I got with my husband that I had my children with. And it's like, as an Amish person, you trust everybody until they give you a reason not to. And she knew that. She knew I was an easy victim. I'm very gullible and I'm very honest. But she knew as soon as she walked in that door, what she said and how she said it, that I was going to fall for it. She said, Liz, just let me help you. Let me help you, because I was crying. And I said, please don't do this to me, please. Now I'm under all this pain from 30 broken bones and a ruptured spleen. Okay. Now 1 year later, when she finally did bring the paper to me, I had just had surgery to try to fix that leg for the first time after the fact of the accident. And let me say, if anybody has ever had a broken bone, they know what it felt like somewhat. But 30, my leg was upside down backwards in my lap. They didn't think they was going to be able to even get me to walk ever again. I did walk for a little bit, but it wasn't fixed. And the doctor kept taking pins and screws and plates and stuff out that he was not supposed to do. And we're in the middle of a lawsuit for that. But the thing is the pain that I was in when I signed that paper, and just that I was under duress. And then if you add the 3 narcotics, and I'm going to say exactly what they were, Oxycontin, oxymorphine, and oxycodone, all 3 prescribed for pain at the same time. And I was on that pain medication every year from 2009 to 2013, and off and on even after that till 2016 when I lost my leg. So all these years, like everybody's saying, oh, well, it's been so long ago, we can't do anything, and all this other stuff. No. It has not been that long. I've only been off the medication fully by myself without doctors helping me get off of it because they didn't want me off of it since 2016 November. I got my leg off in September. I was still in pain at that time. But I made myself get off the medication because I seen what was really going on, because I brought somebody in my house that looked at my case and was like, oh my God, this is illegal. You cannot let this happen. And I got my head cleared out and got off all the medications by myself. And here I sit. Yes, I'm still waiting, but the door is open thanks to Punish for Protecting getting involved. Charlene and Francesca have literally been angels in my life. I call Charlene my mama bird because I go to her about everything. And Francesca, I do too. I love these women more than I've ever, I can't even put it in words. Like the hope that I finally got back. I seriously thought I had to give up because I was having PTSD attacks to the point where I was literally last year life-flighted to Pittsburgh Hospital because I stopped breathing because I couldn't handle the stress anymore. And I couldn't handle everything that I was going through. And everything was just, it was like nothing mattered no matter what I did. I did parenting classes. I did drug and alcohol. I did everything that I was asked to do. And I still don't see my children. And even that paper that, like I was saying, it says that I have visitation rights. I haven't seen my children in 6 years, people. 6 years. I mean, take 2 days is too long. An hour is too long to be without your children. I cannot tell you how horrible it is to be without my children for that long. And they're sitting there brainwashing my children, making them think that I abused them. And I never did anything to my children but love them. And on top of that, I did nothing to lose my children but trust somebody. That's all I did. Trust somebody to care for my children while I couldn't walk. Are you there?
Yeah, Francesca, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself if you're talking. I can't see you, really. But, yeah, 6 years, that's incredible.
I was trying. Yeah. I was I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to hit the unmute button and it wasn't going. Ted, I don't know, but because I'm dark in the car driving, you know, if you just want to use a regular picture, so it's not so disastrous looking on the broadcast. I want to say, you know, first of all, Elizabeth, excuse me. First of all, thank you so much for sharing all of this, and I appreciate you beyond words, and you know that I do love you, and you know, my greatest reward or thanks in all of this really is just to see you with your children again. That's to see people back with their children. That's all all I ever need. That's it. There's nothing more rewarding than that. There's nothing that makes me happier. I you know, continue to do this, and I will continue to do this. There's no question, because it literally is like the air I breathe. Because first of all, I can't stand injustice. That's number one. Before that, number one, there's nothing more important in this world than our children and families. I don't really see anything else, to be honest with you. A couple of years ago, I mean, I come from an Italian family, so you know, if anybody's Italian, you know what it's like to not be with your family on a Christmas when you're more than welcome to be there. I spent my entire Christmas because a mother didn't get to see her children. So I picked them up and made sure she had them for the day. That is the most important thing to me. And I'm not saying this for any kind of anything. I just want you guys to know that my heart that's in this work, it's not work. It's really what I live for. If anybody that knows me from years ago, I had a best friend that I literally grew up with who was abusing her kids, and that friendship is over. And it's just some people, because she was like close to my family and everything, were like, well, how could you even, go against her, so to speak, okay, until they found out what she was doing, then they realized. But the point behind it is that there's just something that you just don't do, and you don't touch you don't touch children. There's something, we see the gargantuan size of people that would literally donate to an animal before they donate to a child. It's been proven. You can actually look that up. I'm an animal love animals, okay? But I don't comprehend how people don't do the same thing for children that they would do for animals. Puppies are so cute. Aren't babies beautiful and cute? I don't understand that. I think that if you were to say that we're going to abort a dog, and abort all her puppies out of her womb, people would be up in arms about that. But every day in America, 50 billion children are being aborted from their mother's wombs. And it's like, oh, no big deal. So, I think we have a lot of backwardsness in society that I will never comprehend. And then you've got your, you've got all the mixed messages that have been given, that all the lies that have been told. And that's why I say continue to go back to your own moral compass. All right. I'm a Christian. Majority of people that I see coming to Punish for Protecting are Christians or people of faith, genuinely people of some kind of faith. Okay. So go back to your moral compass. If it feels wrong. As you later, the first place, that's great. But literally, when push comes to shove, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay? If it's a form of bullying, whether it's coming from a judge behind a pulpit or whatever the hell that they stand behind, their desk or whatever, okay? A caseworker that's being, coming into your home, accusatory, demeaning, all right, on your property, wherever it's coming from, if it feels wrong, it is wrong. Or if it feels wrong to you, it is wrong. Because if you feel intimidated or bullied or pressured, or like Charlene says, yes, we do have laws regarding duress, okay? Then it is wrong. And if we don't articulate this before a judge in a judicial capacity, and we don't get this stuff straight, we are no better than communist China. Okay? We cannot allow this to dictate where we are and what we're doing with society any further past 2018. I do believe that we have a president, whether you hate him or love him or you're somewhere in between, that actually really genuinely cares about a lot of things. I think he's very raw and real. He's very wealthy beyond words, okay? I think he does do things a lot with wisdom that you don't see, okay? Just because he may appear rough around the edges in some regards. He's a real human being. He's a man, okay? So I know that things came out, what he did on the bus or whatever, and whatever, what have you. I'm not saying that it's my ideal, but guy talk, locker talk. I've heard women talk far worse. But let's look at what he's doing with our country. Let's look at how many sex trafficking rings he's exposed. Even before he got in office, that stuff was getting ready to come down. Okay? Let's look at all the latest news that we're seeing. Our voice is being heard by our president. I guarantee you this. Okay? And as you know, our group spoke to Kellyanne Conway while down there. We got treated like royalty. Ask anybody from my team how we got treated. Like we were, you thought the president himself went in there. Okay? So are we making an impact? Yeah, and it's only by the grace of God that God opens doors that no man can shut. That's all I can tell you. because I tell you guys this every day, and I get people thinking that they have to defend me on this. You don't have to defend me on this. It really, when I say I'm a nobody, I'm just your next door neighbor. That's all I am. That's all I am. I'm not anybody. I'm just your next door neighbor. I think Ted can say the same thing. I think anybody that's doing this can say the same thing. Okay? We just try to use whatever is available to us to do whatever we can to help our fellow man, because we have a love and a passion for children and families. And we also know that what we do for you is for ourselves as well. And so what we are doing is trying to get everybody to work together. We cannot fine-tooth comb every single individual case, but we can show you ways that we can do this together as like a corporate army, so to speak, to get these children home where they belong, so we can live the American dream that has turned into a complete and utter nightmare. We should not be going through Christmases without our children. I am thankful and I praise God every day. Mine sits right next to me, and I just saw my daughter. But I'm not going to stop, because all of you out there that don't have your children right now, you need to have your children, and it needs to stop, and they need to get healing. And there's a lot of years ahead of restoring everything that's been stolen by these psychopathic criminals. So I think that we're in the right time right now. I think that I'm beyond excited for January 3rd. All the different countries that are joining us, joining forces. You know, we cannot do this alone, okay? We have to have all of your help out there. We have to have all of you continuing to trump this message, tell your stories, get on the lives. You know, look, Elizabeth Ann, she has hope after years. That in and of itself is something very powerful, guys. The Bible says hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? So without hope, you're sick. But with hope, it says that you can literally move mountains of faith. Okay, well, we're here to help you guys to move those freaking mountains, and being your human beings, loving neighbor, doing whatever we can, and that's all I can really say about this. In the case people telling the time they're fighting again, they're not going to be afraid. They don't care if they go to jail. What the hell else is left anyway? You know, whatever it is. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, I want to see everybody not in jail. I want you to be able to fight this. But the point is that, you know, how much more can they possibly do, guys? They've taken your children. You got to fight back. There's no other answer. You need to fight back. Now, I want to address a question that I saw coming through Facebook. I get so many notifications. There's no way I see maybe one in every 1,000 because they just keep coming in. But, okay, I've got some people terrified of citizens arrest. Okay, most people have gotten off that bandwagon because now they realize what we're doing. So that's kind of died down. I have others that are like, well, you're just too lenient. That's all you want to do is not spend money. I mean, if you think about that statement, I don't want to say that's ignorant, but I will say that I believe that what we're doing has a great deal of wisdom behind what we're doing. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. You guys want to go out there and start acting like Gestapo and start citizens arresting people. That is very foolish. Okay, very foolish. You want to do it as a mass army. Now you got a lot of power behind you right there. So what's the best way to do it? Are we all just going to get out on January 3rd and start arresting everybody? No. You want to do this in a way that's going to produce something that you want as an end result. Okay? You got to actually think about what you're going to do. When you're playing chess, you got to think first before you make your next move. You don't just go ahead and make a move. Okay? And it's like anything in this lifetime. You got to use the thing that comes between your ears before you actually act on it. So the first step is that we're going to shut everything down. Okay? We're going to drain the economy first for one day. Let me tell you something. If you don't think that's going to frighten them, you're foolish, okay? Because that's going to shake them to the freaking core, okay? And now you call the shots. Do you think I'm not ready for not martial law. Do you think that I'm not ready for the U.S. Marshals to get out there and do their job? Of course we are. Of course we are. But if you think that people are just going to randomly start getting U.S. Marshals to do their bidding, they're not going to do jack shit until you do your part in not spending any money on January 3rd. And then January 4th and 5th, we can move forward with our plan. So that's the question that I wanted to address that I seen out on Facebook. Okay, do I agree with you that the U.S. Marshals and all the Oath Keepers need to arrest these sick criminals? You betcha I do. I wouldn't be doing this work every day. That what they're doing is beyond criminal activity. What they're doing when children are being murdered. Ted, do you have any of the stats on how many kids just died this week alone thanks to foster care, CPS, and family court?
No.
Because all I know is every time I turn around, I got another dead baby to report.
Wow.
How about all the suicidal parents? How about...
It's actually 1 in 12 minutes on children dying, and it's 1 in, I think, 2 hours in CPS, believe it or not, throughout the world.
I believe that. I believe that. All I know is I get story after story after story after story. Matter of fact, we showed one yesterday of a child that has been killed thanks to foster care, CPS, or a judge's negligent decision. So we've got something that we're all held accountable for, and that's one another. Okay, and we are accountable to make this stop happening. We have a moral obligation to shut it down on January 3rd. Okay, we have a moral obligation to shut this crap down years ago. Years ago. This should have never gotten to this place that it's at right now. And the oppression, I believe, is part of the target that I aim for, because you guys cannot continue to live under an oppression in 2018, 2017, going into 2018. Okay, we're supposed to be a civilized generation, people. Okay, so it may not look like it did in other generations. Okay, but it's there. You just don't see it because it's hidden behind the robe. It's hidden behind the beautiful building that looks like a court. Okay, or in some cases, like Ulster County, it looks like a barn. It's hidden behind, like in the medical profession, it's hidden behind the white lab coat and the doctorate and so on and so forth. Okay, but let me tell you something. When you're controlled, you're controlled. When you're oppressed, you're oppressed. When you're bullied, you're bullied. When you're abused, you're abused. When you allow it, when you've got voices everywhere trying to stop them, when you've got people everywhere trying to gird you up and pull you out of it, there's just so much we can do to get you to do the right thing. So, and don't shoot the messenger. So,
I'd like to say something, Fran. You had brought up about Kirk's Law Corner. All I was doing was listen. I'm in Kirk's Law. I've been in Kirk's Law Corner. Geez, for at least since they even started, I think, because I was with Blue Soldiers all over the world. We had started Blue Soldiers years back. I was New Jersey chapter for Blue Soldiers. But these guys are incredible. And what I'm saying is I break down, I go in, I watch them on a lot of things, and I have my own everything that I do, but it makes it easier for me to bring this out through CPS because I've learned it through CPS. Plus, what those guys, the tools that they bring, what I'm referring to them as the Law Corner is tools, but sometimes you have to bring in the simplicity of their tools to the table to people because they are not on that level that these guys are on. When they go there, people are like, oh, I don't know what they're saying. I don't understand this. Okay, well then let's put it like this to you then. Val, do you understand it? And they're like, yes. I said, well, that's what they're saying. All you got to do is bring it down like you're saying. There's common law. These guys are going on sovereign law, whatever, ordinances and codes. People aren't used to that. Okay, that's a different language to them. You might as well be bringing Latin like is in the medical field, which I am in the medical field. But the universal language is Latin throughout the world. So when you break it down, like I could tell you a cholecystectomy is an excision of the gallbladder, but that's throughout the world. But I had to also tell you that we're taking out your gallbladder. You wouldn't know what I was talking about. That's what I'm saying. These guys are bringing it big. I'm breaking down the big for people to understand how big that is. It's actually, it can be brought down in simplicity. And I learned from them a lot through, that's why I reference to them out here now that we're live and everything like that. I owe a lot to these guys, a lot that I've done with people throughout the years. But people have to realize we're giving them tools. Everybody's got something they can utilize in everywhere out here in these little cell groups. Now, what we're doing is we're unifying these cell groups. We're bringing them all, pieces from everywhere. We're bringing them all in. We are one mass voice now, and that's what we're looking for. We want you all together, all of us together out here. Get away from that little keyboard, man. We need the voices, okay? You need the reference to the next guy that's out there in that cell group and tell people, look, if that's what you're looking for, go here. But then we need you to bring it live that you actually did that and brought that from there. Make it known to people. People listen before they're going to go and read. They're listening to you. And even though I'm not on a video right now, they're listening to my voice. It's easier for them because they're so distraught. They don't have time to read everything, but they are listening. So what I'm saying is these guys are awesome. Listen, I owe a lot to these guys, and that's why I'm referencing these guys. If it wasn't, Chris can break it down like you wouldn't believe, and they're very nice guys. If you ask them even in private for help, they'll literally call you. I'm not going to put it out there like that, but if you have the right thing and they have the time, they will help you like that, or they'll make an actual show out of the whole thing for you. That's how nice these guys are with their own time. They're not getting paid either. Okay. Right. We're for free out here giving you tools, everybody. And look what we have coming through. We have a lot more. They're just not out yet. We're securing everything we're doing first before we bring it out. We're making sure everything that we do is correct. And the order that it is coming correct. And we're getting stronger and bigger and louder. And our boots are on the ground. There is nobody going to stop us. And that's the bottom line on this. We are a voice now that we have to be reckoned with, and we're showing it through Elizabeth's story. They are now they are scared because we're not giving up on her, and she brought the right thing to the right table, and she didn't do that before, and it was all because we're with a stupid video that we're crazy. People say we're the crazy ones out here. Oh, you must be crazy. This is what I'm getting.
I don't know. I haven't gotten that too much. I haven't gotten that, except I have had a couple of crazy people try to discredit, but everybody knows that they're crazy.
Out here running around with our mouths. Well, let me tell you, now that we're bringing it raw and real and showing people what we're bringing with our mouths, now they can shut up because now we're bringing it to you live. Raw and real is what my saying is now. They didn't have it. Nobody brought it. We're bringing it. Okay.
You know what? Anything that's novel or whatever, people, I mean, all throughout history, they thought the Wright brothers were crazy too. So anyway, but we're on the cutting edge, sweetheart, and we are forerunning this crap, and we are not going to stop until it's done. And all I can say is.
Can I say one more thing, just real
please,
quick?
I want to hear you. No, talk. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. No, seriously, don't rush it. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had just gotten news a couple months ago that my daughter had actually tried to kill herself because she's getting bullied because she's not this woman's daughter. She's getting bullied in school and she's getting bullied everywhere. She felt like she had no way out but to kill herself. Do you know how helpless that made me feel and what a piece of crap it made me feel like? A mother that can't even help her own daughter when she feels like she wants to kill herself. Really? Here, I don't get the news until weeks later. God forbid, had she actually acted and actually exceeded, would I have even known? I don't even know. And then the thing is the second child that she kidnapped would be my middle child. That child tried to kill this woman last year twice. in 1 week. I mean, my children are reaching out, people. We have to do this. We have to help my children. It's not about me. It's not about anybody but my children and my family. My sister tried to talk to my children and tried to see my children. Her own niece and nephew. And this woman will not let her. She said if my sister talks to me, her own sister, that she will never see her niece or her nephew again. And she blackmailed my sister for a while into letting her see them, getting videos, updates, just to try to keep my sister from not believing me or not helping me or nothing. I mean, this woman she's guilty of so much, and they all are. Everybody involved in this case, including the judge, they're all guilty of conspiring to kidnap, fraud, and then brainwashing, blackmail, and treason. This is treason. I mean, the thing is this is right before Christmas, and I swore when I had my last panic attack on Thanksgiving Day, that I was not going to celebrate anything to do with any of the holidays until my kids are home. And all of a sudden, I get a miracle that it's literally a Christmas miracle. This is a door that's now opening little by little every day, and now they're scared. So that's like, to me, gave me a lot of hope, because they want me to back off. This woman was not supposed to tell me what the kidnapper said, like that she's scared to lose everything that she has and all that. Nobody was supposed to tell me anything. But it just happens that she is my friend, and she told me, and it was just like, okay, she wants me to back off because she's scared of losing everything. Like I told Charlene that, and Charlene's like, do you not see the problem here? Yeah, this is backwards. No. I said, no, this is what it literally, I cried, because this PTSD is literally like being stuck in the ground and not being able to breathe. And without my children, that is what I go through almost daily. I've been having heart palpitations for the last 2 weeks, to the point where I couldn't even be on Facebook barely at all. Like I would go on and share you guys' stuff, but that is all I could do, because my heart could not handle it. And like the pain of seeing everybody else with their children and their families for Christmas, it makes me happy to see that everybody has their children and they're getting them back and all that. Believe me, I'm more than happy to hear that people are getting justice. But in the same time, I sit there and I'm like, why not me? But I gave it to God. And God has known the truth since day one. And day one, it's been kidnapping. And that's what matters. That's where they're scared. Because they know I could not consent on real legal terms. I could not consent under the medication and the pain that I was in. So that's all I have to say on this is, people, we have to get this money together. We have to get this attorney, and we have to get justice for these kids, because they know if we get this money, they have to give up. They are scared to lose everything that they have, plus jail. And I have the Judicial Conduct Board papers to take the judge off the bench completely, even went after 2 attorneys that haven't done their jobs. So my case went out to attorney generals in Washington, D.C., attorney general in Harrisburg, and judicial, what was the other one?
The Committee on Judicial Conduct as well. And we are going to make sure we get you this $5,000. We are going to make sure, we're asking everybody to please donate whatever you can. Whatever you can is an encouragement to Elizabeth. So please get those donations in. Do it as a Christmas present. Just do it as a seed. If anybody goes to church, that you sow a seed to reap a harvest, to reap. Do it as a seed for other children. Do it as a seed, do it unto God, and you will be blessed for it. Okay. When we give, we shouldn't give with any kind of motive at all, other than out of the goodness that God puts in our hearts to give other people.
And that link
and that
is
should be that.
the link.
What'd you say, Jen?
The link to her PayPal account is in the description. I just want to make sure that it's correct. I'm not 100% that it's correct because it wasn't double checked.
Okay, so Elizabeth, if you can check that, and I wanted to say too regarding what you just said, Elizabeth, a couple different things. So in some of these lawsuits that are being filed federally, of course, the first thing that they're going to do, this is just standard. It's just standard. So don't freak out, you guys that have filed lawsuits against these judges and so on and so forth. Number one, they're going to try to use the judicial immunity. When you go through the federal court, you will get through that. You will get past it. Second, they're going to always try to dismiss the case. They're going to make some bullshit excuse. They're going to use judicial immunity for one. There's all kinds of ways around it. Your case will go forward. It will go forward. Continue to just keep doing it. I am looking into, because we're doing this as such a mass army, that's why we're gathering as many of you as we can possibly gather. In this nation, in the USA, we will be suing as a nation. I see this happening in the near future. We are going to sue as a nation because this is a national health and safety risk to families. And I don't care if it's never been done before, okay? We will be the first to make sure that it's done. We need to put such a nail in the coffin after we kill this giant that it can never, ever, ever come back again. Because the abuse to families, excuse me, as you know from this and all the other stories, is beyond barbaric, beyond. Now, this judge is who I blame, Elizabeth. When you tell this story now, all I can think of is this judge. This judge is a criminal. This judge's face will be on the cover of magazines before this new year is out, for the criminality behind what this. Oh yeah. Oh no, definitely. You've seen what I sent you in secret today, right, Elizabeth?
Yes.
That I said I want to encourage you with that. And that will be out very, very soon. That's going to be out very, very soon. And there's a lot more to come where that is. So, you know, I don't have the confidence I have. I say this all the time, and the boldness that I have for no reason. There's a whole lot I got in my arsenal that nobody even knows about. And yes, it does. All of a sudden they're like, oh, what she got up her sleeve now? Wow, what's she doing next? Well, there's going to be a whole lot more of that. So just know that these judges, their best bet is to stop effing with us. That's their best bet. That would be the smartest move that they make, really, for their own sake, because they're going to be spending a lot of years behind bars. And you could go visit. Oh,
yeah, and I forgot to say this. The same judge that did this paper, or filed this paper, I should say, the friend to the kidnapper, she also put a gag order on me when this started last year.
Second, you didn't tell me about this. Tell me about this. They gave a gag order.
Yeah, I had a gag order put on me last year. I thought I told you. A gag order put on me last year when this first started, when Medical Kidnap got a hold of it and started putting it out nationwide. My story is nationwide, has been nationwide, but nobody opened doors or opened their eyes to what really was going on. It's a real kidnap, not just Medical Kidnap. Because nobody knows what Medical Kidnap is. Medical Kidnap it's real, yes, but by law they haven't opened their eyes to it yet. But the thing is when Medical Kidnap got a hold of it, it went nationwide, and the judge put a gag order on me and then recuses herself from the case. That gag order has been lifted, but I don't post any pictures of my children.
Well, I mean, a gag order is illegal, first of all. There's nothing legal in it, nothing valid in a gag order. And any good attorney would remove a gag order immediately if they knew what they were really doing. But anyway, before I even go into that any further, I want to make sure before we wrap this tonight, if Charlene, if you had anything else you wanted to say, and Elizabeth, if you had anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up.
I have a suggestion.
I'll take that, Bob.
And I want to know if we could possibly do this. And I'm bringing it just off the top of my head right now. And I talked to Elizabeth and said, please remind me when we're in here to ask Fran this. Remember when there used to be the telethons, and it would be for like 24 hours and everybody could send in money and the board would go up? Why don't we try and do that for families, for money for lawyers? Like, how could we do something like that? Like we do like a telethon like Jerry Lewis used to do, and we do it for the families, and that way we can do the national, the whole nation or whatever, how many we're going to do at once with the lawyer, and we do a telethon and use all our people that we.
I'm going to try to answer that. I have never taken a penny in donation since the inception of time. I am working with my attorneys in regards to doing donations because we do financially help a lot of people. Without saying too much right now, I would never do a GoFundMe under my organization. People have asked me to do that. Anything that I ever, let me just, no, I know, I hear what, no, I hear what you're saying. I'm trying to like lay a foundation for everybody that watches to understand. Telethon sounds like a wonderful idea to help people. The way I do it, and as people have, the way, no, I mean that sounds like a really cool thing. I'd have to check with my attorneys to ask how that would work, because anything that's ever, I have never specifically taken in something to give out, if that makes sense. And anybody that ever has had needs financially, I just generally request and share their information. So if they do get donations, it goes directly to them. It doesn't filter through me in any way, shape, or form. So if anybody was to audit me or look in my bank account, they would see very, very clearly nothing's ever come in. It's only gone out. I am in the middle of wrapping a few things up because I changed my name that has been registered, National Coalition Family Court and CPS Reform, under 501c4. We are right now re-registering my name as Punished for Protecting. So I'm in the middle of that right now. So until that's actually registered under Punished for Protecting and I remove National Coalition, I'm going to start actually taking in donations at that point in time, because of the fact that we have grown so crazy big and we just keep growing. And, you know, I'm not Rockefeller or Trump yet anyway, to be able to handle the amount of people that we have. So a telethon sounds like a phenomenal idea, and I definitely will talk to my attorneys about that. I love the idea, actually. I do want to continue to do it, even so, if I do start collecting donations personally in such a manner that I want to do it in a certain way that it's not either filtering through me specifically, or that it's done in such a manner where if this should happen to happen, if it should happen to get to that point where I decide to take it, it's done in such a manner where I don't know how to even explain it, but it's done in a very appropriate manner. Let's put it that way. But I do appreciate that, Charlene. I really like that idea a lot. So thank you for that. I do like that. I didn't know if there was anything else Elizabeth wanted to say before we wrap and show Lara's clip.
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and I really hope that everybody can have a good Christmas. I know it's not going to be easy for a lot of parents out there, and it's not going to be easy for me either. But this is a Christmas miracle, and please, please, if you guys can, I don't care if it's as small as $5, I don't care what it is, anything will help. Let us bring these children home where they belong and where they are loved, and their family, their entire family misses them and loves them and wants them so bad and would do anything to just see them, let alone bring them home. And I just want to say God bless to you all. And I love you all out there.
Thank you for that. And I want to, before we wrap with Lara's clip and then the final ending, I do want to say, and I want to remind all the viewers, on Christmas Day, I believe we are going to try to shoot for 11 o'clock in the morning, guys, for those that do have their children that are opening presents or so on and so forth. So it will be Eastern time. Ted and I will be on the air. And originally, I was going to have people send me pictures, but it'll be inundating, and I don't want to do it that way. What we're going to do, and we're going to let you guys all know, it's called the Christmas Project. And what we're going to do is we're going to have you guys come on, all the parents that have been alienated, all the children that have been alienated because of these violent criminals that we call judges in America. We are asking that you guys please come on the show. You can get on the Zoom link at 829-085-5004. We will announce it so you'll know, but please pay attention on Christmas, okay? Come on and either stand before your Christmas tree or in front of your Christmas tree or maybe in your children's bedroom. We want you to come on and tell the world how long your children have been stolen from your precious care. We want to give you guys this opportunity. I guess it's our Christmas present to you. I don't even know how to put it. We want to have you guys have a picture or maybe two of your children that have been stolen with their names and their ages. We want to thank the vile judges that day for the damages they've caused your families and any other caseworkers or anyone that helped to destroy your homes and hurt your children this way. And on Christmas, I'd like you to reach out to your children and wish them a Merry Christmas and say what you want to say. And because we're expecting a great amount of numbers on that day, to the Zoom link, mind you guys. So please download it in advance, zoom.us. Just download the app. Make sure you can hop on there. You have to be visual. So you have to have a webcam accessibility in a bright, well-lit area, okay? We want you to be able to say, you know, what you want to say to your children or grandchildren, okay? Aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, you guys are all welcome on Christmas. And we're hoping to do it at about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can, you know, say the names and ages, how long they've been away, and then just let them know how much you love them, that we're all praying for them, and that we're expecting these kids to come home. Okay, we're expecting to implode this system, to destroy it on January 3rd. And we do, again, ask you guys, listen, we need your help. We need your help. You've never heard us ask for a penny, but we need your help in action. This is what we need. We need your help in action. Get these videos out there. Spread the word. Do a 3 to 5 in front of your Christmas tree right now when you're done with me with this show right now. Go do a 3 to 5 minute broadcast. 3 to 5 minutes of your time right now could actually potentially save a child's life. Do you guys know that I get lots of your kids contacting me that they want to come home? Okay, you have no idea what else goes behind the scenes here with what we do. You have no idea what we do and what we try to do using a great deal of wisdom to keep people protected. Okay, you really don't know. Believe me when I tell you, Charlene knows. Charlene knows. So guys, do a 3 to 5, stand in front of your tree, tell them you miss them, show them the presents that they're not going to be able to open. I don't mean to hurt the children any further, but we need to get this message out loud, clear, and strong to the world. These just no conscience judges, okay? Maybe they'll go from Scrooge to having a heart in there. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is their day in court has arrived. That's all I know. I know that it's time that these sickos get out of these positions of power, because I don't think, you know, it's amazing to be a person who's been a law-abiding citizen. I've been raised in a very good family. I have zero tolerance and respect for our judicial system. I am disgusted by what I see. I have never witnessed something so barbaric in my entire life as our judicial system. It is utterly shameful all across our world, and it's sad, really sad, and we have to do something about it. So please share those 3 to 5s, get them out there, be sure to tag me, make them public, guys. Too many of you are making them friends, and you guys said them to me, and I can't do a darn thing about it. You need to open them up to public, okay? And don't forget Christmas Day, the Christmas Project. We'd love to see you on Zoom, zoom.us. Get it downloaded, 829-085-5004. Elizabeth, thank you for your story and your Christmas miracle story today. And Charlene, thank you again for all that you do. Ted, again, once again, thank you for always being available. We really appreciate you and all that you do.
Anytime.
Hi. The reason for this video is to implore and encourage all of my friends, family and acquaintances to not purchase anything, zip, zero, zilch, nothing. On January 3rd, 2018, we are protesting Family Court and the fact that they do not stand up for the best interests of children, and also that CPS, Child Predator Services, is not doing what's in the best interest of children. I hope you'll join me and Punish for Protecting, January 3rd, 2018. Please message me if you have any other questions. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Fairly clear in the room, get to know the feeling of liberation and relief.